What should we talk about?
So, can the brain understand the brain?
What's that?
Can the brain understand the brain?
How does the brain understand the brain? Any other question?
Perhaps we could discuss the question of whether there is anything that would make people change, human beings change, fundamentally, not just superficially, but...
What will make human beings fundamentally change?
Can we also talk about attention?
Attention. Anything else?
Can thought understand thought fully?
Can thought understand thought fully? The same thing as the brain can understand itself. Can thought look at itself, understand itself? Right. Anything more? Right. May I begin, and then we'll put all these questions together. Did you hear last night Dr. Holm and Dr. Vibram talk about the brain, the wholeness of the brain? Wholeness? No?
It was in French, so...
It was in French, so...
Was it? Yeah.
It was in French.
All right. Most human beings, including us, want to live a peaceful life. Not a life of decay, sluggishness, but they want a kind of peace out there, outside and inside. That's what most people want. And to have peace outwardly and inwardly, you must have a great deal of intelligence, right? Because not a cleverness. We're going to discuss what is intelligence and the rest of it. Not cleverness, not a great deal of erudition or specialized brain, but you need deep intelligence, right? Because without that intelligence, we cannot have peace in the world. The politicians are encouraging wars, as most people are. I do not know if you have noticed within the last month or so, they've been talking about Falkland Islands all the time, practically every day. So the war was over 6 months ago and they're still at it. War heroes, people who have killed more than the others, all stood, and so on, so on, so on. Bravery and so on. Can there be peace in the world? This is a very important question to ask for you, especially when you are going to enter the world. We are older people, we are going, you are coming. And isn't it important to find out for yourselves whether it's possible to live in this world peacefully without being conscripted and so on? Is that possible? And what does it mean to live a life of great peace, intelligence, and with it goes great affection, love, and all that? Is that at all possible here in this world? Christianity say more or less they have put aside that question. Perhaps you'll have peace in heaven. Then it's a nice. You won't have peace here on earth, but you may have peace somewhere in the skies, in the clouds. And the ancient Hindus too had this concept of heaven. And the Buddhists, in a different way, they talked about having peace, a sense of righteous living and so on. Right? Now, is that possible for you? Not join a monastery, that's not peace at all, that's an escape. Not become a hermit, or join a small group talking about peace and they never have peace. This sense of isolation can never bring about peace, right? So, our brains have been accustomed, traditionally conditioned to conflict, right? We are examining now the brain, as you say, and thought. Our brain, our life is conditioned to constant conflict. You agree to that? Why? Why have we accepted conflict as the way of life? You might say all the trees in a forest fight to have light. Right? Nature is in constant battle, conflict. Bigger animals killing smaller animals and so on. That's not conflict, that's a natural way, isn't it? A tiger, a lion, cheetahs, leopards, panthers, they all live on other living things. And we are supposed to be more intelligent, more evolved, and we still sustain this sense of conflict. Agree? Do we see that? You are in conflict, aren't you? Why? Why should one accept a life of conflict? Please discuss with me. Why should one?
Are you suggesting that there's something different between the conflict among the animals and the conflict among human beings?
Yes, I'm talking of human beings.
Yes, but you seem to be suggesting there's something different there. Because some people say, well, we're just like animals, and so therefore we have that conflict.
But we're supposed to be evolved.
Well,
I don't know what I'm supposed to be, I said. I'm asking myself, why should I live in my relationship with others and in myself, live a life of perpetual conflict? Not having been able to solve that question, we avoid it, evade it. And we say, this is the way of life. This is our existence as it is. We must naturally accept it. Right? We are questioning that. We are doubting it. We are asking why. Go on, sir, discuss with it. Don't go to sleep.
It's a compulsion, it seems, Krishnaji.
Huh?
It seems to be a compulsion toward this conflict.
No, but I'm asking, sir, why am I, as a human being like you, accept this pattern of life? Is it our brains are so conditioned our thinking is part of the brain. Our thinking is to rationalize conflict, right? Or escape from conflict. Or try to submerge it, suppress it, right? These are our ordinary reactions to conflict. But an intelligent human being, if there is such an intelligent human being, asks naturally, why? Why don't I break through this condition? Do you ask such a question? Or do you just accept it? You accept war? You accept the rotten governments all over the world becoming more and more dangerous, tremendous unemployment all over the world. Do you accept things as they are? Not say, I don't accept it, but I'll become a communist or a socialist or something else. Right? It's the same pattern. So, do you trust governments to bring order in your life? Which is peace, right? Go and discuss with me. Or do you begin to explore why we live this way of life? Shall we do it together? Would it interest you? Not just intellectual, verbal explanation. Interest, deeply committed to this question, to find out if you can live a life of great intelligence, great integrity, and proceed to investigate that. Would you like to do that? No, don't. It doesn't mean that you just listen to what the speaker is saying. You enter into it. You enter into this whole process of it. Right? Are you willing? Now, we have lived on this earth for about 2 or 3 million years or more. Or more civilized within the last 30,000 years. Let's accept that, right? And all the ancient drawings, pictures, and literature have shown conflict between good and bad, right? So-called evil and the good. What is right and what is wrong. There has been, from time immemorial, this conflict, right? And our brains have accepted it. Why? Go on. Why has your brain, we discussed the other day very clearly that our brain is not mine. You understand? My thinking is not my individual thinking. The most poorest man in the world and the most sophisticated scientist thinks. One may think very simply, the poor man, but the scientist has tremendous capacity, complicated mathematical brain, but he also thinks. So thinking is not individual. Right? Do you see that? But see, if you accept it, if you see the truth of it, you are no longer concerned with your own fulfillment, with your own desire. You understand? You are concerned with the whole of humanity, of which you are. Right? Do you accept that? It's more difficult. Right? She's again our tradition. Our condition says, thinking is my thinking, not yours. My brain is my individual, limited brain. But when one begins to see that thinking is common to all mankind, by thinking he may build a hut, thatch roof, and the great architects may put up skyscrapers 40, 50 stories high. But it's the same process. So, from there proceed. We are investigating not whether I can live a peaceful life, you understand? But can human beings throughout the world live a peaceful life, of which I am? You understand? So I'm not selfishly concerned to have a peaceful life. When I discover that it is possible to, then it becomes a human issue, not a personal issue. Huh? So have you understood it? I wonder, are you clear on this? I can say to myself, I must live a peaceful life. I'll submit to my wife, to a government. I just won't even think about it. I just trot along, accepting the traditions, leading a normal, bourgeois, mediocre life. That is, I won't even think about it. Right? Or you begin to think, rationalize, and say it's not possible, and accept things logically. Right? That we say once, that we must be ruled by governments. Those presidents, prime ministers, all over the world, you know what they are. I don't have to go into all that. So, are you concerned to find a way of living, not only for yourself, but for the rest of mankind, a way of life that is not in perpetual turmoil? If you are, then let's find out what is conflict. What is conflict? You understand? Not between you and me, not between government and myself, but the nature of conflict, the word conflict. Go on, sir, inquire with me. What does it mean to you, conflict? The word, the meaning, the significance of that word.
Isn't it a challenge?
No, conflict. No. You have conflict, haven't you?
Contradictory to what one says.
So, contradiction with what you, do something contrary to your thinking. That's one form of conflict, right?
But it could be also a challenge that you don't know what to do, and you also get in conflict.
No, I'm sure. I'm asking you, if I may, with respect, I'm asking you, what does that word conflict convey to you? The word. How do you look, consider the word?
Battle.
Huh?
Battle.
That is a struggle. Is that it?
There's pain.
Huh?
There's pain.
Pain. All right, you're not, perhaps I'm asking the wrong question. When you use that word conflict, what is the feeling you have?
Confused contradiction in myself. Feeling of contradiction within myself. Contradiction within myself.
Contradiction. That's what this my friend here was saying. Contradiction between what I think and what I do. Right? When there is that contradiction, what is the feeling behind that contradiction?
Confusion.
Huh?
Confusion.
Is it confusion?
Uncertainty.
Fear of unknown.
What?
Fear of unknown.
Fear of unknown.
Not fear of unknown. You see,
I think it's the feeling that I'm wrong, that there's something wrong.
So there's a suggestion that there are two opposites in contradiction with one another.
yes,
Duality.
contradiction, right?
And
Let's take that. You haven't gone into this. That's why I'm explaining it. You're just listening. When there is contradiction, what is the state of my mind? When I realize there's contradiction, opposition, a sense of duality, I want this and I don't want that.
Resist.
Huh?
Resist. Against.
Against?
Resist.
Resistance, I think. she means.
Resistance.
Resistance. Is it? Look, sir, just wait. Let's go into it slowly. Let's take a very simple example and work it out. All right. I'm attached, right? Right? You're all attached, aren't you? No? Attached to a friend, attached to a husband, attached to a girl, attached to an idea, hold on to some concept, some image that you have in your mind, or some experience that you have had, and you say, my God, how marvelous, I'm going to hold it. Right? You had all this, haven't you? So, and somebody comes along and tells you, look, why are you attached? It gives you comfort to be attached to somebody, doesn't it? In that comfort also there is contradiction. Right? I'm attached to you. And I'm not letting you go. And you want to move away from your, after all, you're not my slave, but I'm attached to you. So, jealousy arises out of it. Fear, anxiety, anger.
Comparison with other people.
There is slight affection. Compassion doesn't enter into attachment. Not love. It gives me comfort. It gives me security. I feel well with you. So I'm going to cling to you. Right? Right? Agree? So in that durée one, now there is a contradiction, right? I'm attached to you, and at the same time, there is fear that I might lose you. So there is a contradiction, right? Now, what is the feeling in that contradiction?
Anxiety.
All right, let's use the word anxiety. Now, that's a conflict, isn't it? To be anxious about you, right? And we live that way. Mhm. I may be attached to you for a number of years and I'm tired. Or you leave me and I then attach to somebody else. This process goes on all the time, right? I divorce my wife and seek another wife. But the same problem exists with the other wife. Agree? How do you know all this? Have you read about it, or have you observed this phenomenon? You understand what I'm talking? Have you observed it, and therefore say, by Jove, what strange way of living? Or you just read somewhere in a novel or somebody talked about you, and it's just verbal acceptance. Which is it?
Some of us have lived it, Krishnamurti.
I know, sir, I'm asking, not ask older people, but I'm asking others this. If it is a direct perception and you see the nature of anxiety in attachment, which breeds conflict, right? Then will you live that way? Now just me, you want to know what attention was. Will you attend to this question? Will you give your energy, which is attention, to look at this problem? This problem is attachment. In that attachment, there is fear, which is contradiction or anxiety, and with that anxiety you live as long as you're attached. Right? And that then begins the whole problem of conflict. Agree? Even verbally, intellectually see this first. Then go into it much deeper. Which means, why should I be attached? Why should I depend on you to give me comfort? Why should I depend on you so I feel secure? You follow? I attach to my group, to my nation, to my party, to my ideology, and so on. There, I feel secure. So, in that security, there is danger, isn't there? Do you see that? So, next question is, why do you accept it? Is it part of your conditioning of the brain, which has always said, I must depend. I depend on the postman, on, right, all that, naturally. The man who brings milk, and so on. But why should I psychologically, inwardly, depend on anything? That dependence brings conflict, right? Good. Do you see that? Oh, come on, sir, this is so simple. Of course it does.
Krishnaji, I may be wrong, but I have a feeling we're not quite touching upon the issues of conflict that then tend to affect us in daily living here.
I'm coming to that. So first let's understand what is conflict. That's all I'm trying to get in, pointing out.
So, but we need to think of actual situations, such as, say, somebody comes, I want to do something, and somebody comes and tells me that I should be doing something different.
Something else, that's right, same thing. I want to go out for a walk, and you tell me, no, sorry, you have to play football or study. This is not the time for a walk. You haven't finished your homework, so please. Now, watch it. You want to do something, and an outside person tells you to do something else. Now, either you create conflict by saying, sorry, I must go for a walk, and therefore there's a struggle between you and somebody says, can't go, or what will you do? Go on, tell me, what will you do?
I go to play football.
Huh?
I go to play football.
No, you see whether it is necessary that you do something else instead of going.
I want something, don't say, be clear, I want to do something. The school says I must not do that, right?
I would ask them.
What?
I would ask them why I couldn't go for a walk.
Now wait a minute. The school says we don't eat meat here, right? And you're used to eating meat, aren't you? Or don't all of you say you're vegetarian?
I used to be.
That's no fun at all. All right. School says smoke. Don't smoke. You're not allowed to smoke here or take drugs. And you're used to taking drugs. I hope you aren't. You're used to taking drugs of some form or another. Tobacco, whiskey, some form of drug. Now, there is a conflict between what you want to do and what the school, and from the beginning, says we don't allow this. There is a conflict, isn't there? What are you going to do? Use your brain. Well, how is the brain going to react to this? To restrain you from doing something with which you have been accustomed. You understand? What is your reaction there? It's very interesting. Go on, sir.
Still wants to have that drug.
You want it. The school says, no, sorry, you cannot have it here. Right?
I think you'd be contradicting yourself, because you came here in order to try and change. And if you go, once you come and then you go and try to find a stimulus, such as the drug, and they try to help you by saying, look, what you're
That's
doing.
a different matter. That's a different matter. If I come here with the idea that I'm going to have to change, then there's no problem. But if I stick to my drug and the school says no, what is your reaction? How will you adjust? Go on, sir. What will you do?
Some kind of aggressivity?
People?
You may feel some kind of aggressivity towards the person who tells you that?
No, you may feel antagonism to that person, but you jolly well have got to drop your drug or leave the school.
You have to suppress your desire.
Pardon?
She says you have to suppress your desire.
Which means what? Conflict.
You keep conflict within yourself.
How will you meet this challenge? Go on, meet it. Don't say usual response, suppress it, I must escape from it, I must submit. How will you deal with it? Not to have conflict. Go on, that's very interesting.
Well, sure, you have to look at it.
Huh?
You have to look at it and look why you're taking the drug, why you need to take the drug.
Are you willing to do that?
Yes.
Which means?
You're willing
Which means what? Look at it, which means I talk it over with the school, right? I discuss it. I'm sorry, I smoke, and you are not allowed to smoke here, but I've been smoking for quietly, secretively, for a couple of years, and it become a habit, right? So you talk it over, right? Are you following this? Will you? And perhaps the school says, all right, we'll allow you 1 cigarette a day till you get over it. So what does that mean? You are willing to be free of conflict, right? Not to have conflict. That's a very simple matter of smoking and all that. But if you are married, and if you have husband, children, wife, there's, how will you deal with that? It's much more complex, isn't it? And are you willing to discuss, go into the matter?
You have to do it alone, yourself. If you're married, say, I mean, you have to really...
Sir, but unfortunately we get married before we know where we are.
I know.
So you understand, either you suppress conflict, right, or escape from it through various forms of amusement, including religious amusements, or you look at it, find out. You exercise your capacity, your intelligence, your energy, attention, to see, is it, why, I'll see if I can't talk it over with my wife, and see, remove conflict. What I'm trying to point out, how important it is not to have conflict. Because to have constant conflict wears out the brain. Right? Strain, conflict, anxiety, all these are various forms of energies that begin to wear out the brain. Right? Right? Now, will you stop doing it? Like, don't say yes, it's one of them. You have to be, now, you have to be very attentive to this. Attentive. Not to any movement of attachment with its anxiety, with its conflict, you are aware of it. Not say, I must escape, I must suppress, but you gather your energy to understand it, so that one can live a peaceful, a life, I won't call it peaceful, a life in which there is no conflict, which means no problem. If a problem arises, look at it. Don't say, I must solve it. Just look at it first. What's the meaning of that problem? Right? So.
But Christian, this situation, as you say, is not that simple.
Of course not. Nothing is simple, sir.
I mean, I may have a conflict because I want to do something and the school says something else. But then, say you come to me and say, now look, you must take off your jacket. It's an untidy jacket.
No.
But you say it, it's said to you in a bossy way. So
I
you
know
get
that.
hurt.
But I know.
So how do we deal with that?
when you tell me in an aggressive way to do something, what will you do? What do you ask me? What will you do? I come aggressively and say, do this. Partly anger, irritation, a repetition. Because I've been telling you to do this and you don't. And also I'm weary, tired, I have my own problem, I didn't sleep well. You follow? All that, take all that into consideration. Right? That means, are you willing to meet aggression intelligently, not react to aggression? Do you understand my question? Will you meet aggression with a great deal of attention and intelligence? So let's proceed from there. You asked a question which is, can thought observe thought? Does this interest you, this question?
Yes.
Huh? Does it interest you? Don't say yes just because.
No, I'm not saying yes just because.
Which is, can the brain be aware of its own activity? Is this question too difficult?
No.
Huh?
No.
And not for you, sir. I mean, it's not what you're saying. We are old people. I'm talking to the younger people. Now, there are specialists in brain, like Dr. Prevam, which you heard last night. He was one of the specialists. There are others. We're not going to refer to them at all, right? We are just ordinary laymen. Agree? We are laymen. We are not depending on the authority of some experts. Agree to this? So don't quote me what somebody says. Because we are examining, we are looking, asking whether the brain, which is the movement, which has this movement of thought also, can that thought be aware of itself? Right? Right? Have you ever noticed the beginning of a thought? Have you ever been aware just before thought begins? Or as thought comes?
Yes. I think after, so it comes after I'm aware.
I know. You may be aware after, but I'm asking, are you aware the second thought begins?
Sometimes you are.
Not sometimes. Just look at it first. Ask this question yourself.
Can you be thinking the thought and still
Huh?
be aware of it?
What?
Can you be simultaneously thinking the thought and being aware of it?
No. You ask a question which is, are you different from your thought? Right? That's what you're asking. So you can say, yes, I am aware that the beginning of a thought, which means you are separate from thought. Are you? This little complex, go slowly. Are you aware that you are separate from thought? When you say, I am watching my thought, then you are separate, aren't you? Right? Now, please, it may be a little difficult. Go patiently. That's what we generally do. I am aware that my thinking is not complete, right? I haven't thought about the matter. There, you are separate from thinking, right? Right? Is that so? Are you separate from thought? Or you are the result of thinking?
Sir, if when...
Answer my question first.
I'm trying to answer it now.
Now, go on.
If when somebody comes up to me and I'm doing something and and he says it in a certain way and let's say I'm brushing and I'm just about to react to it, but I catch myself and not say what is going on, what you were just about to say, but say, okay, let's go. Then is that catching?
No, I don't mean that. First, listen to what I'm saying. I am aware I'm thinking, right? Are you aware that you are thinking? Yes, of course. Now, are you, who is aware of thinking, different from thinking?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes? Why do you say that? Careful, think it out.
If you say, I am aware that I'm thinking, isn't that just another thought? So that of course you can say, I am aware that I am thinking, and actually be thinking.
Yes. But are you separate from thought? Or you are the result of thinking? See, you're not used to this.
I don't see how
You're not used to this. Ask this question before you answer. I am angry, right? Is anger different from me?
We think it is.
Wait, listen to my question first. I get very angry or very greedy. Am I different from my greed?
Not at the time of the anger, but afterwards.
I'm asking, please, would you kindly answer? Are you different from your greed? Huh?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Don't guess.
I'm not guessing.
So you say I am not different from greed, which means what?
If you're not different from greed, that means you're totally your conditioning.
What?
If you're not different from greed or different from your thoughts, that means you are totally your conditioning.
No, don't forget conditioning. Are you different from greed? All right, begin again. Are you different from your name?
Yes.
Yes. Are you different from your form, the way you look, your body? Are you different?
Yes.
Right. Are you different from your desire?
At times.
And,
it's like
don't brush. I want you to answer me.
At times I feel different from my emotions or my
So,
desire.
so you are saying, as I am different from my name, from my body, from my, I'm different from my desire, from my anger, right? Careful, because I'll show you something if you go into this slowly. If you are different from your anger, then you can control anger, right? Then there's conflict between your anger and yourself. Agree? But is that so? Is it a fact that you are different from your desire, from your anxiety, from your greed, from your anger? Are you?
No. If the criterion...
You have said it. Hold, I understand. You have said it. You are not different, you say. But I'm asking the others. What do you see? Are you different from your anger? See, if you are different, separate from anger, then you act upon it, right?
Yeah, I think I'm different from anger because I suppress it all. At least I am different from the things I don't like.
But you are, at least you are different from the things you don't like. So if you like, you are. It's part of you what you like. Go into it slowly. This is very important, please. Don't brush it in this. This is really very, very important to find out. This, if you can find out, this may be the ending of conflict. You say I'm different from my name, from my form, from my desire, from my anger, greed. That is something totally different from me. Right? And I'm used to this idea that being different, I'm going to act upon it. I'm going to control it. I'm going to suppress it. I'm going to transcend it. Which means conflict. Right? You've accepted that. All your life, that's all your whole philosophy, your whole parents' education, everything, religion says these two are separate. Is that so?
When I'm angry, I really am angry, and at that moment I don't realize it, but afterwards I might think that I shouldn't have been.
Yes, afterwards. But I'm asking a question. You're not. Are you different? Are you separate? Is anger over there and I'm over here?
No, that anger is you.
Huh?
That anger is you.
You're sure?
Positive. I feel when I am angry, that is me.
That's you. You are anger.
Yeah.
That would be. Proceed. Your envy. Your anxiety. Right? You are conflict. Huh? So what will you do? Very careful. If I am anger, if I am greedy, and if I am anxiety and so on, I am that. Well, then what happens?
Then
Careful. You have go into it very, very carefully.
Then you cannot act upon it if you are that.
Huh?
If you are anger, you cannot act upon anger, right?
So what happens?
when you are not anger, anxiety,
I know.
you then you have no conflict.
But you are anger, not when you are. It's very good exercise for you.
can't do anything.
Huh?
You can't do anything.
So what will you do?
Nothing.
Careful.
Have no resistance.
Which means what?
You observe.
Go. Huh?
You observe it.
If you have no resistance, if you are not acting upon it, then what happens? Don't guess. Look at it carefully.
Then it goes away.
Then you're not there anymore.
Have you not, please, when you are anger, envy, jealousy, and so on, you said just now you can't do anything about it, right? I've got white hair. I can color it. I can do something or other. I've got you follow? I say that white hair is part of me. So what happens? You said I can't do anything about it, right?
You just accept it.
Huh? No, don't use the word accept. It is so. You are that.
It's a fact.
It's a fact. Right? Don't accept the fact. You understand the difference?
It just is.
Yes. I am anger. I am light brown. I am this and that. I am that. Right? But if I separate myself from anger, then I act upon it. Right? If I am not, I can do nothing, as you said just now.
So there's no more comparison.
Wait, go slowly. I can do nothing, right?
Yes.
What does that mean? Slow, go, think step by step. Have you not eliminated conflict?
You have.
Huh?
You have.
That's all. That's good enough so far. Right? Before, when I acted, resisted, there was conflict. Here, I say I'm anger. I am that. I'm not accepting it. It is so. Therefore, from that I realize an extraordinary fact that I have eliminated this duality, this opposition, right? Do you see this?
For me, it's still
Huh?
a theory.
Huh?
I don't see it.
Sir, are you saying that if you accept it, it is still you who is accepting it, who are accepting it, right?
I'm not. I didn't use the word accept.
No, I know.
You used it.
I know.
Therefore, then when you accept it, you are.
It's you who is accepting something else.
Therefore, you are that.
Right.
Now proceed from there. What we are talking about is it possible to live a life without conflict, right? If you are anger, haven't you eliminated this division, this contradiction? No? Huh? Explain it to him.
If you are anger, then you are anger. There's not saying that anger is not me.
Or I shouldn't be angry, or
That's right. Go on,
angry,
go on,
but I really
go
don't
on.
want to be. Or
It's good, this.
That is for me a theory. It's not a fact.
okay, look, if you're mad at me, right?
It's very good. Lazy. Go on.
If you're angry at me, show me the anger. I don't mean demonstrate it to me, but show it to me. Do you understand the difference?
I mean, I I can show it to you, but I still have it, and I still think.
No,
it's
I don't
different.
mean demonstrate it. I don't mean, stomp your feet and scream at me. I mean, you right now, take the situation. One is angry at Katie. Show me where the anger is.
If you have anger, you can't get rid of it. You're angry.
Yeah, but I will
Yes,
just
I
get
know
rid of
that.
it. You're judging it.
Wait a minute, sir.
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
that's separation.
Look,
But
look.
when you get rid of it, what
Oh.
you're doing is
Well,
separating yourself.
Well, if, right, let's say I haven't done my biology homework, right? I'm really mad at you, right? Say, look, I'm not teaching you, I'm not spending 5 hours a night trying to fix up a class ready just for you not to do your homework, right? I am really mad with you. You must do it, right? It is you who's been angry. Isn't it? I mean, you can't say that that this anger has come from the air and it's coming through me, can you?
So the
Well, there
anger
you
has
are.
come from within you. It is a part of you.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but is that so? I mean, I
It's
still
a
think that
pain,
it's
yeah.
different, because you might be saying to me words.
It's a
That's
march.
what I want to say. Why this division?
Yeah, just a minute. They've explained to you. Somebody comes to listen to all this, say, what's the matter with you? You're rather stupid, aren't you? Wait a minute, look, I'm not being rude, please. Huh? This chap says, you're rather stupid. What's your reaction to that? Reaction, when he says you're stupid.
Maybe I am.
Huh? No, what's your reaction? What do you say? Is that reaction different from you? You are not willing to face it. Face that. I'm asking you this question, so please answer. He says to you, you're stupid. After all this explanation. And what's your response to that word?
I get hurt.
Huh?
I get hurt.
No, what's your response? What do you feel? Hurt? There's no. Yeah, all right, you get hurt. All right. Do you get hurt?
Yes.
At last. Now wait a minute. Is that hurt different from you?
At the beginning, no.
So, at the beginning, it is not. Then why shouldn't go on? If it is at the beginning clear, keep it clear. What we're asking, sir, is your reaction different from you? Your reaction. Right? At last. I've got it? If you say my reaction is different from me, then you can react. You can control that reaction. Then in that there is conflict, there is justification, all the rest of it. But if you say yes, that reaction, that hurt is me. Right?
It always gets there before I do.
Huh? Mister, please, and this is a tremendous problem. If you discover this for yourself, it is the beginning of ending conflict. The observer is the observed, right? The thinker is the thought, right? Is the thinker, all right, put the question differently. Is the thinker different from thought? Is the experiencer different from experience? Go on, sir, think it out, answer me. Huh? You know, he has got it. He keeps.
I was saying that
The followers are, if the experiencer is not different from experience, you see, then why seek experience?
It's pleasure.
Huh?
Because it's pleasure.
No, you haven't. No. Then you are separate from pleasure. Aren't you pleasure? So you're going to. This is not a conundrum. It's not a trick. Have you found out for yourself the thinker is made up of thought? So the thinker is not separate from thought. Okay, right? So there is only thinking, not a thinker who thinks. This is little too. One of those Frenchmen, Descartes or somebody, who said, I think, therefore I am. If you didn't think, you are not. So you are made up of thought. And go on. So whatever thought has created about you, you are thought. It's part of you. Right?
Would it be easier to understand it the other way around? In other words, if you weren't there, there wouldn't be a reaction, there wouldn't be a hurt or an anger. You know, there would know you. There wouldn't be anything, would there?
Of course, they've seen that. Now, just move a different step. You look at those trees, autumnal leaves, the color and all the beauty of that, the light on this, sun on it, really is marvelous thing. Is that different from you?
Is the tree different from you, or is the looking different?
No, I'm looking. That tree, that thing we call tree, is that tree different from you?
No.
Ah? I hope not. I hope it is. Otherwise, I am a tree.
No. I gave it the word tree.
I'm not talking of the word. I said the thing you look at, which we call tree, is that thing different from you?
Yes, it is.
Of course. Huh? So what have you discovered? Go on, what have you discovered?
To me,
Huh?
the one who is looking at.
Please, this is important for you to discover it. We just now agreed, you are also beginning to agree, that I am anger. Anger is not separate from me, right? I am anxiety, and anxiety is not separate from me. Greed is not separate from me. That's clear, right? That thing we call tree is separate, but is that me?
No.
Is that me? No. Why don't you say so? Which means what? Thank God I'm not the tree. All right. The tree is not me. So I've discovered that. I don't want to tell you. Go on.
There's no you and me then.
What?
There is no you and me.
There is no you and me.
No, there is.
No, I mean psychologically there's no you and there's no me. Because we're all, our anger is us.
Haven't you discovered anger, anxiety, greed, jealousy is me? All the psychological things which I am, I have separated myself from that and I have been acting upon it, right? Now I discover all that is me. And I see by Jove, I can't do anything about it, right? I have discovered where there is division, there must be conflict. The Arab and the Jew, the Muslim and the Hindu, the Christian and the non-Christian, Britain, France, where there is division, there must be conflict. But there is a division between the tree and me. There's no conflict with the tree. Is there? Of course not. I'm not the moon. Thank God. But there's no conflict. It's there. But where there is identification with the separate, as British, as French, there must be conflict. Have you understood this? Which means, are you British, are you French, are you Hindu, are you... If you are, you're going to create conflict. If I say I follow Jesus or I follow some guru, you're creating conflict. Right? Right? So you don't belong to any group, you don't become a follower of anybody. Is this, huh?
Sir, as long there is thinking in me, there is a thinker. Isn't that so?
Huh?
I think as long there is a thinking in me, there is some thinking that's me.
Wait, as long as there is thinking, what are you saying?
There is a thinker.
There is?
A thinker.
A thinker.
A thinker.
But yes, sir, there is a thinker. But the thinker is put together by thought. Right? If there was no thought, there's no thinker. That was so obvious, right? So don't be complicated. As long as there is thinking, there must be a thinker. But the thinker says, I am different from my thought. Right? But the thinker is put together by thought. The thinker is the past, he has had different experiences, memories, right? The thinker is the past. Agree?
So, when...
Wait, right? There's doubt about that, you see?
So thinking is more real than the thinker?
No.
But what about thought that just goes on in your mind all the time?
What's that?
What about goes on in your mind?
What?
What about the thought that goes in your mind?
The thought that is in your mind is the result of past experiences, past knowledge. There is no thought separate from the past. This leads a little bit please. Say, for example, engineers have built internal combustion engine. That has been the tradition that has been going on for hundreds of years. Then suddenly somebody discovers the jet. right? You understand this? Right? That is, I have been thinking for the last 1,000 years, not 1,000, 200 or 300 years of internal combustion, ordinary. That has been my tradition, my practice. I've worked at that. And suddenly I discover the jet. You understand? How does that happen? It's important for you to find all this out.
When you put aside the past.
And you can't, sir, have you done? Don't say put aside. What do you mean put aside? Who is to put aside?
Well, for you to discover something new.
How do you discover, that's it. How do you discover something totally new? Come on.
When you have nothing to compare it to.
You have discovered something new. When you say, I am anger, right? Therefore you have eliminated conflict. That's great discovery, isn't it? Right?
You can understand something new.
Huh?
You can understand something new.
How do you discover something?
By,
you are an engineer.
By investigation.
You are an engineer. Or a scientist, no matter what. You are an engineer. How do you discover something new?
Through knowledge.
Huh?
Through knowledge.
Huh? Is that so?
Yes.
No, Krishnamurti, I think the engineer would say that he'd find the internal combustion engine inadequate.
All right. And then what?
Well, he'd begin to think and wonder about an alternative.
Which means what? Proceed, sir.
He wasn't happy with what he had before.
I discover as an engineer is internal is inadequate, wastes too much energy. I want to find out, what do I do? I study, look at different things, but isn't there a moment, this is what I want you to find out, isn't there a moment where knowledge stops suddenly and I see something new?
It has to.
Otherwise you're just repeating. Right?
But isn't the new thing, I mean, the image of the new thing, right, is obviously new.
If you
But the things which lead up to this image is based on what is old.
Of course. Go on. Go on, proceed further. Now wait. I have been used to, by tradition says, you are different from your anger.
From your what?
You are different from your anger. My tradition, my education, religion, everything says you are different from anger. And you come along and tell me, no, you're not. Right? You tell me. Will I listen to you? Or I say you're rubbish and go away. If I listen to you and begin to inquire, don't I? I say, is that so? And I suddenly see it is not. That anger is me. So I've discovered something new.
Yes.
Which means I have not accepted the tradition. That's all. I have been an engineer. I'm used to combustion, internal, is inadequate, insufficient. So I'm inquiring, looking, watching. I've studied other books, but they're repeating the same things. So I must put all that aside and be free to look. Don't answer me. Don't answer me. Just see. To discover something new, you can't rely on the past. That's what I'm saying.
But the man who invented the jet engine obviously relied on the past.
Did he? Of course not.
No, I mean the facts are that these people say that it's quite mysterious what happens. They see that the old ideas are inadequate, they look at them, they wonder, they try different new ideas.
Yeah.
But then, then if something new comes, it's quite mysterious.
Haven't you discovered something new this morning? When you said, I am not different from my anger. That's a discovery, isn't it?
Yes.
That's
but
all.
I don't know if it's... There is something which is used as a tool up to a certain point. This man used his knowledge of engineering up to a certain point, which got
up to
him
a certain
that
point.
knowledge.
Up to a certain point.
And then,
yeah, that's all. I'm saying up to a certain point, as he pointed out. It's inadequate, it is not sufficient, it's wastage of energy, and he looks around, but he's inquiring, he's open. He's looking.
right, he's not stuck on the old...
Set on the old. Therefore, he finds something new.
Uh-huh.
If I repeat, as a Catholic, over and over and over again, day after day, I never discover. But if I say, but you, it may be false, and let me look. So, education is to help you to look not only at the past, which is knowledge you learn, but also be open, free to... Right, that's enough for this morning, isn't it? Not enough? Isn't it 25 past? We'll meet another Tuesday. May we get up?